Haki surpasses all. Indeed, in the story, Roger, who possessed one of the strongest haki, reached the pinnacle of pirates. So, who comes to mind as the current strongest haki user? Likely Shanks, who with a single haki-coated blow sank Captain Kidd, who has a bounty of 3 billion. However, recently, 5 yokai capable of wielding haki that could rival his has appeared in the world of One Piece. The 5 Elders. As Kaido put it, both the pinnacle of pirates and the pinnacle of the world are occupied by extraordinary haki users. They are recognized as the supreme authorities in the world of One Piece. Even Marines have only seen them in portraits, shrouding their true identities in mystery. In chapter 1110, they finally appeared before Luffy and his crew in their monstrous forms. But there's something puzzling. Did you notice it? Yes, only their names as yokai were introduced as their abilities. Until now, if a transformation was due to a devil fruit, both the fruit's name and model were introduced. This suggests their transformation into yokai might not be due to the usual devil fruit powers. The exception lies with the Zoan-type awakeners in Impel Down, who were introduced without any mention of their devil fruit names. There's a good chance the true nature of the 5 Elders could be that of monsters that have absorbed the consciousness of their original human ability holders. However, Brogy has stated he knows of no immortal abilities or races that can resurrect no matter what. It seems the Ope Ope fruit doesn't grant immortality either. Let's revisit the scene where Blackbeard mentioned the surgery related to the Ope Ope fruit. When initially serialized in Jump, this fruit's power was described as granting eternal youth and immortality. But this was later corrected to eternal youth upon the volume's release. The term immortality was removed. This implies that one could live forever without aging if they remain in a safe condition, but they could still die from fatal injuries. That's probably why Imu is always confined within Maria-joie, much like Shirahoshi. This suggests that their healing powers might stem from something other than the Ope Ope fruit's power. Their abilities remain shrouded in mystery, but in this video, we'll dive deep into analyzing who they really are. Right now, One Piece is on a 3-week hiatus. I also have translation work, so I apologize for the slower pace of video production. However, in lieu of the One Piece serialization break until April 22, I plan to share even more interesting content on this channel than ever before. If you have any requests, please let me know in the comments. Now, let's analyze the abilities of the 5 Elders one by one. Let's analyze the abilities of the 5 Elders one by one. First off, their abnormal healing powers. Saturn can recover from fatal damages almost instantly, with wounds closing up right away. I believe this immortal power stems from their monstrous forms being dependent on their souls. For example, Bakotsu is a yokai that originated from a horse that died in a fire. Itsumade is a monstrous bird that appears from the corpses of people who died in wars or famines. Gyuki became famous through the story Gegegen Okitaro. In the story, it possesses an immortal body, and even if defeated, its soul latches onto the one who defeated it, becoming a new Gyuki. Sandworm and Hoki are not Japanese yokai, but in the world of One Piece, they might be considered something like immortal yokai. The concept of monsters, or yokai, in Japan originates from ancient animistic beliefs. Simply put, it's the idea that all things, living or inorganic, house a soul or spirit. Phenomena or entities that people don't understand or believe in can also become yokai. This Japanese concept of animism is likely deeply connected to the devil fruits. For more details, please watch this video. I think the true nature of these immortal yokai is linked to what Kinemon and Brook hinted at, the Yomi no Kuni, known as a realm of the afterlife. In fact, when the 5 elders appeared in their yokai forms, the introduction panel was designed in a Wano country style. Furthermore, the connection to the underworld can also be explained through Nasujuro, who is a Bakotsu but has the ability to handle ice. The Straw Hat crew also has a skeleton who handles ice. According to his Vivre card, Brook's image animal is a horse. The essence of the ice Brook handles is the chill of the underworld. I believe the ice handled by Nasujuro, who has become a Bakotsu, is of the same nature. Moreover, Brook can reattach his head because his existence relies on his soul, allowing him to come back together again and again. Similarly, the monstrous abilities of the 5 elders must also depend on their souls, enabling them to regenerate their bodies any number of times. In chapter 1111, Luffy's wounds somehow separated from his body, and then he was patching them back onto himself. Do you remember this peculiar commonality between Luffy and Brook's bodies? Yes, the scene where drinking milk instantly fixed their teeth. This might not have been just a comedic element, but could suggest that their very existence in the world of One Piece is unique. Furthermore, a well-known commonality between Brook and the 5 elders is Saturn, the Demon King. Brook was recognized as the Demon King when he was accidentally sent to the middle of a magic circle during a demon summoning ritual. The appearance of the 5 elders on Egghead Island also involved a mysterious magic circle, suggesting that magic has existed in the world of One Piece since ancient times. Moreover, when the 5 elders emerge from the magic circle, they always appear in the form of beasts. It's possible that in the ancient world of One Piece, these monsters were truly summoned as demons by people. Now, for an analysis from the unique perspective of a Japanese native, which is the forte of this channel. As I often say on this channel, Oda-sensei is a genius at incorporating important foreshadows into comedic scenes. Brook was worshipped as the Demon King in the kingdom of Harahitania, and as part of that sequence, he once helped capture the Long-Arm tribe. Do you remember why that was? Probably because this girl showed Brook her panties. As proof, they said something like, "That's right, we can summon demons. With panties." So, does this mean showing Mota's panties to the 5 elders could have stopped the destruction of Lulusia? Who knew the fate of the world might hinge on such a ludicrously pants-tastic solution? Japan has its share of silly games. There's this 4-stage gesture used to tease someone when a girl's panties are seen. Pansumaru mie. This phrase means pants fully visible. Pan is the sound of clapping your hands, then tsu stands for 2. Maru means circle, and mie is peeking. This sequence of gestures was cleverly incorporated into a scene in chapter 1109 of One Piece, where Luffy uses his dawn symbol. Pan, tsu, maru, mie. The original inspiration for this came from a song by a folk musician that was popular in Japan at the time. Interestingly, this song was released in 1979, when Oda-sensei was about 4 years old. It seems this gesture game was a hit among kids around that time. Likely, this gesture, meant for times when one accidentally sees a girl's panties, is used to represent Marines who've inadvertently spied on the 5 elders through binoculars, something they were not supposed to see. So, Brook asking to show panties might not just be his quirky shtick, but could actually hint at a secret tie to the 5 elders. It's possible that in the past, this country had a kind of summoning magic capable of calling forth beings like the monstrous forms the five elders transform into. By the way, I think many of you might have seen this magic circle somewhere before. It closely resembles the crest designed in the Room of Authority. All of this hints pretty strongly at a connection between the five elders' powers and the magical traditions of the Kingdom of Harahitania. This magic might even be tied to a great kingdom. This is because symbols resembling ancient scripts, like those found on poneglyphs, are engraved on carpets used for summoning demons. I have a rough idea of where these demons might have lived. Can you guess where? Here it is. Though viewers of this channel might be tired of hearing it, there's a very high chance that Impel Down was connected to this great kingdom. And it's where Luffy and Buggy encountered the Basilisk in Level 2. This creature closely resembles the monstrous forms of the five elders. Interestingly, at the time of the Basilisk's introduction, it was referred to as a beast from the demonic world. Perhaps, for the Great Kingdom, Impel Down served as a sort of demonic realm where they kept these fierce beasts. Let's dive deeper into what this magic circle is all about. First off, it's worth noting that Saturn arrived at Egghead on a transport ship without using this magic circle, which suggests there are limits to where the magic circle can be used. Furthermore, in Chapter 1110, Saturn summoned the other four elders directly to Egghead from the Halls of Power in Marie-Joie. At that time, the magic circle appeared both at Egghead and in front of the Halls of Power. So it seems like you can only set up magic circles close to yourself, but once you've got one placed at a specific spot, you can warp to another circle, even if it's far away. It's like having a network of magical jump points. Let's ponder the origin of this power. What's particularly intriguing is the appearance of the five elders from the magic circle, accompanied by massive black lightning, a visual often used to depict Conqueror's haki. So I'm led to believe that this magic circle could be a manifestation of Conqueror's haki. In Chapter 1111, the emphasis was on Topman's roar of haki, showcasing a strength comparable to Big Mom's haki roar. This implies that the five elders are also formidable users of Conqueror's haki. The idea that they can wield such powerful haki, on par with the four emperors, suggests their abilities have been refined over a long life. By the way, I think this telepathy among the five elders might be an application of Conqueror's haki as well. It seems they can communicate messages without the need for Den Mushi, utilizing their haki. This was demonstrated in the exchange between Shanks and Aramaki in Chapter 1055. Aramaki appeared to be conversing with Shanks through the black lightning of Conqueror's haki. Despite the considerable distance between them, Shanks managed to send his voice directly to Aramaki. I'm starting to think that Conqueror's haki might not just transmit voices, but could even send souls to another place. This brings us back to the relationship with the Yomi no Kuni. While we don't know where Brooks once visited Yomi no Kuni is located, its depiction in color gives off a vibe of being in the sky. Perhaps their souls once traveled to the underworld in a state of soul, then were transported via another magic circle. Considering how Shanks was able to show up at Marineford, located in the first half of the Grand Line, just a day after his clash with Kaido in the New World, it might have been due to his powerful Conqueror's haki combined with a warp through the Five Elders' magic circle. 2 years ago, maintaining the balance of the world was of utmost importance to the world government. Their obsession with the number of warlords of the sea makes that clear. If the Summit War had continued, the Blackbeard pirates would have wreaked havoc at Marine headquarters, which would have been all downsides for the world government. So it's entirely plausible that they dispatched Shanks to settle things down. The special treatment Shanks received from the 5 elders could also be because he has been acting in the interest of maintaining the world's balance. Perhaps even Sengoku had sensed that Shanks was dispatched by the 5 elders. Now, finally, I'd like to conclude with what the true nature of Yokai the 5 elders transform into might be. I believe that the 5 elders were transformed into immortal yokai by someone or something. It's possible they were originally yokai to begin with. However, despite their abnormal healing abilities, Saturn and Peter bear scars that won't heal, suggesting they were once human. The fact that they each have unique last names also naturally leads to the conclusion that they were originally humans. Their monstrous forms could have been created by a power similar to Sugar's hobby fruit. The world of One Piece is filled with mysterious creatures, but a few come to mind that share similar traits with the 5 elders' monster forms, namely the Sea Kings and Zunisha. First off, despite their animal appearances, they can communicate, notably using telepathy. Their eyes being drawn in a creepy way seems to be something they all have in common too. Then there's the possibility of their immortality. Saturn was depicted in a flashback of the God Valley incident 38 years ago, and he looks almost the same as he does now. The fact that the 5 elders were silhouetted on the cover might have been to conceal their agelessness. And Zunisha has been alive for over 1,000 years, which is more than 3 times the lifespan of giants. While much about the lifespan of Sea Kings remains unclear, one that appeared near Fishman Island recognized an event from 25 years ago when Roger heard the voice of Sea Kings, as if it happened just recently. Plus, the fact they anticipated the birth of the once-in-centuries mermaid princess, saying, "This time it will work," definitely suggests they've been living for hundreds of years. Despite being extraordinary beings, Zunisha and the Sea Kings are unlikely to be devil fruit users because they can move across the sea. This suggests they too were transformed into their monstrous forms by someone else. They possess self-awareness and speak human languages as if they were humans themselves, and they have a master. Zunisha is only allowed to walk the sea but can act freely under Momonosuke's command. Similarly, the Sea Kings rush to help Shirahoshi, sensing her strong feelings appearing around Fishman Island. Could their master be Imu, the secretive ruler of the world? You might be wondering about a potential flaw in this theory. Why can the 5 elders maintain their human forms, unlike the Sea Kings or Zunisha? One plausible explanation, as mentioned earlier, is their exceptionally strong haki. I believe this allows them to keep their human appearance. The reason they transform into yokai when emerging from the magic circles could be due to the significant amount of haki needed to warp using the magic circles, as I've explained before. Right now, Luffy's goal is to escape from Egghead, whereas the 5 elders are focused on stopping Vegapunk from revealing the world's truth. However, as I've been saying on this channel for a year now, the event that will shock the world is Vegapunk's revelation of the world government's secrets. This will inevitably lead to a massive conflict. Lately, the 5 elders have been rather pitiful, unable to stop the revival of Nika, the capture of Nico Robin, or the spread of Nika's image. It's likely they won't be able to stop Vegapunk's revelations either. In that case, they might start thinking about resetting the world itself, possibly using York to obtain the Mother Flame. Ultimately, to save the world from their control, they must be defeated. But how can they be defeated? A clue might be found in Tot Musica from Film Red. I know, some of you might be typing, the movies are not related to the main storyline. However, the existence of Tot Musica in Film Red has been acknowledged by Oda-sensei himself as being part of the One Piece world. During a rescreening event for Film Red in 2022, a special SBS interview between Oda-sensei and the movie's director, Goro Taniguchi, was aired. When asked if a being like Demon King Tot Musica truly exists in the One Piece world, Oda-sensei mentioned it, indicating its significance. The Demon Kings do exist in the One Piece world. They just haven't been depicted in the manga yet. In a world where devil fruits are a reality, beings like Demon King Tot Musica fit right in. This means that Tot Musica, created by the Uta Uta fruit, and beings like her exist within the One Piece narrative. The Five Elders might be akin to Demon King Toto Musica, transformed into monsters by a devil fruit. For those who've seen the movie, you'll understand that this Demon King doesn't just affect the Uta world. Its influence extends to reality as well. Tot Musica was nearly invincible, and it took attacks from both the Uta world and the real world to defeat it. Similarly, these yokai might be immortal unless they're attacked under very specific conditions. I personally believe there's someone who can break their immortal ability, but I'll save that discussion for another video. If you're subscribed to this channel, wait for a thumbnail on this topic to pop up in your subscription feed. And if you're not subscribed, feel free to check out the channel's content when you have the time. Here's a bonus bit for everyone who's followed along this far. Let's take a moment to focus on their names. In chapter 1110, the group of the Five Elders was explicitly named Five Elders. We call this tree an elder. The elder tree is steeped in associations with magic, witchcraft, and the supernatural in Celtic mythology and ancient European folklore. In Harry Potter, one of the most powerful wizards, Dumbledore wields a wand named the Elder Wand. This wand, crafted from elder wood, is said to be the most powerful wand in existence, capable of performing magical feats usually considered impossible, even by the most skilled wizards, such as repairing another wand that was damaged beyond ordinary magical repair. Saturn can automatically heal his own body, summon the other four elders through a magic circle, and immobilize his opponents. And what Saturn carried was also a wand.